Donnybrook is made possible by the support of the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation and the members of 9PBS.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Donnybrook. Lots of hot topics to discuss, and we're going to invite you to Donny Bash 2022, June the 9th. Details to follow. But first, let's meet our panelists, starting with the co-host of the Jennifer and Wendy show on KTRS, Wendy Wiese. Mr. Bill McClellan from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He's Ray Hartmann from the Riverfront Times, rawstory.com, and the Big 550 KTRS. And from the St. Louis American, Mr. Alvin Reid, who sat in so ably last week. And thank you very much for doing another great job.
Anytime.
Maybe too great.
Hey, anytime.
Wendy, I want to ask you about, I don't even know where to begin, because this week the St. Louis County announced that it's going to repeal its mask mandate, if there really is a mandate. But this is in reaction to a court ruling in Cole County. Judge Dan Green said that local jurisdictions, school districts, health departments can't have any restrictions when it comes to COVID-19, in his wisdom. And the Attorney General, Eric Schmidt, agrees. Among other things, he has said that he would sue any local government body, a school district or a health department, if they have a mask mandate. And in fact, he's asked parents and students of schools that have mask mandates to send him photos and evidence shot horizontally on their phones so that he can then sue. Meanwhile, he got in a Twitter battle with the mayor of St. Louis. He said that she is the mayor of the city that has the highest crime in the nation, and she is a problem because she wants to defund the police. She said that he has literally killed people by opposing the mask mandate, and she's encouraging people to send selfies of themselves wearing masks and fill up his inbox. All right. Do you agree with the Attorney General on this case?
First of all, if that's not adult leadership, the Attorney General and the mayor of the city of St. Louis engaging in that kind of a fight on social media, I don't know what is. And I love starting off the show being the piñata, but that's pretty much what I'm going to do, because I agree with Eric Schmidt. And just give me a moment to explain myself before you all pile on.
We're all ears.
I do not feel comfortable discussing the legality or the bylaws or the rules of every school district across the state of Missouri. I just do not. He is the Attorney General, the Cole County Circuit Judge, as you mentioned, Daniel Green. He has ruled and nullified all of these mask mandates. I wear a mask. Unless it becomes illegal to wear a mask, you know, I am going to always wear my mask. But he is the Attorney General. There is a great deal of confusion, and I feel that he is doing what he believes to be in the best interest of the citizens and their children in the state of Missouri. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Wendy, let me say that the Attorney General is a Republican, and they used to be all about local control. And to me, if a local school district decides that the safest thing to do is to have the kids wear masks, I just don't see where it's the Attorney General's business to come in and say, not only am I going to say you can't do that, but now I want the children and the parents to be turning teachers and principals in. That makes no sense to me.
And I would say that the Attorney General actually lost that case to Judge Green because it was about something completely different. Then the judge just went off on some, you know, off way on the highway or something and said, oh, and by the way, all of that other stuff is, and it's going to get tossed out. It's ridiculous. And if I was a school district, I would tell the Attorney General, sue us. Sue us. Just like China, just like the border.
And I realize he has political aspirations that we have discussed ad nauseum around this table. But I think that it is very confusing for people. I would rather have public health departments rather than willy-nilly school districts around. And I understand what all of you are saying.
He doesn't want public health departments to either. I mean,
okay.
that was his point. But and I would only amend what you said, and I was, there are different points of view here. I think, no, I mean, really, but in his case, the only people he's concerned about, the only concern he has is his race for Senate. I don't think there's a question about that. But what I'd like to, he's on Twitter all day long. I'd like to have him tweet what he would do. One of the things that nobody asks, what would you do? We know what you're against, okay? We're against masks, you're against this. What would you do if you were the county executive, you were the head of the health department? What would you do about COVID? In other words, just tell us, because I can't, I've asked a couple people in there, they don't have an answer. What would you do about it? I mean, we can go on, and we've covered his ground so much. What would you do? And they are never even asked that.
Oh, I don't think he wants to do anything. He would probably follow the Ron DeSantis model.
I guess herd immunity.
Everybody
I mean, herd immunity
well,
would.
people, he would say if you're autoimmune compromised, then you have to shelter in place and stay away from the school.
No,
kids
that's a
school
mandate.
Kids.
No.
No, wouldn't mandate it, but would recommend it.
No,
I'm not defending that, Ray. I'm saying that's what we do it.
That's
but
not what
I
they
think
do.
you are right. I think this
What
is
would
all
you do?
about. He is running as a candidate in a very crowded U.S. Senate primary,
Trump
and
primary,
I think he's doing this to just get his name out there, but I don't know if it makes a lot of sense. But
I just want to hear one of them say what they would do to stop the spread of the pandemic.
well,
They would say they'll leave it to the people.
Well,
I mean, I disagree with it, Ray, but it's like Steve Elman and
that's doing
Charles.
nothing.
I'm not going to tell the people what's
Steve
the
Elman
business.
still.
So that's all they'd say.
Steve
We
Elman,
leave it to the
wait a minute.
people.
You know what
Steve
I would
Elman
say if
took
I
a
was him?
nuance. He didn't say let's just let everything go. I mean, my point is he was a little more centrist than that. I mean, he was right to the right, but he was not just
Well, he said, I'm not going to declare what's a necessary business.
But he also took
I'll
a
let
lot
the people decide that.
Yeah, but he also
That's
took
what
a
they do.
lot of steps that were.
But let me ask you this. Don't you think the whole conversation is a little silly and that we should be concentrating on getting more people vaccinated?
But
But that's a vax mandate, But God forbid.
Well, no,
we can't
I mean,
do that.
that is going on. I'm just saying that this is just the more silly stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Hey, Bill, you were mentioning schools, and test scores came out this week for area schools. Last week they came out for Illinois, and the Illinois test scores are way down. And then when we took a look at some of the school districts in the St. Louis area, wow, Riverview Gardens, less than 1% of the boys and girls there are testing proficient in math. St. Louis Public Schools, Normandy schools, none of them have proficiency exceeding 20% in math or English. And so, a couple of things here. Number one, do you think that we should have tested during a pandemic? It was a very unusual year last year. And once we did test, should we have released the scores?
Well, first of all, I think that the dramatic drop has been very predictable. I mean, we've had people talking about this forever, especially the children who don't have computer devices, don't have a quiet place to study at home.
Or internet.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. They're going to be hurt. As far as whether we should test, I don't know. As far as whether it should have been released, normally I'd say, of course, I'm in favor of releasing information. But in this instance, I'll take a moral position. The person who wanted to release it was Commissioner Margie Van Evan. And I'm completely against anything she's for. She's the same person who, knowing it was false, accused my colleague Josh Renan of criminal behavior on, when Josh called over and said that looking at the web page, you could...
The teacher's information.
Yeah, and I want to let you know. And originally they were planning on writing him a thank you note, holding the story like he did. And then I think to please the governor, Commissioner Van Evan came up with this ludicrous story that the hacker got information of 3 of our individuals and blah, blah, and she knew better. So to me, that goes to character. So anything that Commissioner Margie Van Evan is for, I'm going to be against.
That's an understandable.
No, it shouldn't have been released.
Well, there's this thing, there's no such thing as science and there's no such thing as facts. I think it's important for our state to see that this had an impact all over. Not it was a really large impact on, like city kids and kids in lower economic areas, but it happened all over the state. And I think you really do have to, literally smack some people in the face and say, this is a real thing, all right? So we need to be prepared for the next real thing. And so that's why I didn't have a problem with releasing the scores. And it's very serious, and it's not funny, okay? Which is why I have to say something humorous now. It is like these students, literally, your worst nightmare, like showing up to class and there was a final that day. You know, where like, I really could see where they were in a situation where like, how am I supposed to know this?
Right, and there is, I mean, sometimes in life, especially with this entire little generation we're talking about, sometimes there are asterisks, and this is an asterisk. And if I am either the child or the parent, I want that information to be released.
Good point.
I have without getting any more specific than this, I have 2 high school students in my household, and it affected one differently than the other. That's all I'll say. And so it's not even a matter of different economic groups, different whatever.
It's under the same roof. You can have different
and so
outcomes.
I would say this, that I think I like your analysis. I mean, certainly, if I blamed her, I really blame Parson for what you're concerned about. But I understand your point. But I think that you have to test. You had to test to see, if nothing else, see the impact of the pandemic. But it's almost like, I don't know how you use a sports analogy. It's like exhibition statistics.
Right.
I don't think anybody, any school district, whether they did well, poorly, or in between, should even be evaluated this year.
Interesting.
You
Okay,
give
hold that
everybody
thought,
a
because
call
we're
it a
getting a
mulligan.
signal, Ray, that we have to take a break and find out how people can join us in June for Donny Bash. We'll pick up from there when we come back on the other side of these important messages about Donny Bash 2022.
Well, here we are in the studios of 9 PBS on the set of Donnybrook, and we're going to be getting back to the show in just a couple of minutes. But right now, we want to ask for your support. It is the season of giving, and so we're asking you to give your support to 9 PBS. And when you do, you're going to have a great opportunity to give the gift of Donny Bash. So let me tell you, when you join us at $75, you have your choice of either one ticket to Donny Bash or the 9 PBS mug. Donny Bash is going to happen June 9th, 2022 at 6 o'clock right here in our backyard at the Sheldon Concert Hall. Or if you prefer, and we certainly invite you to, become a sustainer. That's just $12 a month, and you will receive not 1, but 2 tickets to Donny Bash and the mug. So you have the opportunity to share this as a gift. As I said, it's the season of giving. You'll be able to share this experience going to Donny Bash with someone. You'll also have the mug. So think about that. You're giving a gift to someone else. You're giving a gift to yourself and a gift to the community. Won't you please call us now and join? And we're going to go over now to the Donnybrookers.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome to the set of Donnybrook. And you know, when we talk about June 9th and you talk about the Donny Bash, it's like, kind of walk us through it, because I know there are a lot of people out there who have already been to Donny Bash. But if someone hasn't, because the doors open at what time? 5:30?
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
Earlier
about 5:30.
than that,
Yeah.
Even,
Five.
yeah.
And we all mingle, and we've never done this in the summertime before. And it's been way too long.
Yeah.
And we're going to get there, and we're going to, have drinks, maybe just a few.
Well, you have drinks before the show.
Right.
Before you take
And
the show.
after.
Oh, and after. Good. Okay.
And some of these guys during.
Very well.
Yeah, right.
Certainly before, and we have a couple drinks and talk to people and get a sense of what we should say.
Yeah. What's going to draw the loudest applause from the audience tonight?
Yeah, probably the
Jim
pit.
Beam.
Probably it'll probably be the pit bulls and the.
Yeah, but it's always
Buy them a
just,
ticket. Buy them 2. Right.
It's always such a fun crowd, and they're there to have fun. You know, they're there for an experience, and that's what we always stress, especially for the holidays. People our age, and I think even younger, are interested in those experiences now. You know, I don't need another pair of earrings. You don't need another necktie, or maybe earrings, whatever you do on the weekend, that's your business. But, you know, we don't need things anymore. We enjoy having experiences with the people we love.
I think that's true. And I think that's a great holiday gift.
Yep.
However you celebrate the
absolutely.
holidays, and especially for the person in your life who has everything, as you point out, it's someone difficult to shop for. And you're also helping PBS.
Like my wife. You know, I never know what to get Mary. And last week, Anne Marie Berger, our producer, gave each of us one of these 9 PBS. And I thought to myself, eat something she won't return.
Mary and Carmen should know.
And I wouldn't say this on the air except that tonight is a book club night for her, so she's
So
missing
you know
the
you're
song.
Okay, then you're safe.
That's great. But no, it'll be fun.
Right.
And we've talked about this before, but it's a good time to mention it as well because you see people who have been to Donny Bash's before, and you look forward to that, don't you? Of seeing some of the people
Well,
who have
especially
been there
not
before.
seeing them for so long.
Yeah.
And it really will be like we see them once a year, and it becomes
you know,
like,
you're right.
and now all of a sudden it's like two and a
Almost
half
2
years,
years,
almost
yeah.
2 years later, and it will really be something. And I think that'll make it special. But just the whole evening is very special to us. It always has been. And as I said last week, you know, when we do pledge and we like doing it, but it was kind of like, oh, we got to do pledge. And now it was like, man, I'm really excited about doing pledge because we know we're going to get to see people. We haven't done it, but we're going to get to see people we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. Are people really surprised when they transform the set of Donnybrook right there to the Sheldon?
I'll be surprised if they get this one over there this time.
Really?
It's more substantial than the one
Yes,
we had.
it is.
So.
It's
that's
beautiful, and we've had such a great response, haven't you?
So far, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, my
Anne
God.
Marie Berger.
Yeah.
Shout out. I get more
Definitely,
camera
Anne-Marie,
time
yeah.
when I say that. No, I don't actually. But no, and it's as much fun for us as it is for the audience. To be
That
honest,
is
I mean,
fun.
we really do the interaction.
That is
Sometimes
good.
We also
kids-
want to thank Carroll House because we like nice things.
Oh,
And
Oh, and they've
they
been
had
responsible
everything
for
to
that.
do with
Oh,
the set and the furniture, the new furniture.
that is great. Shout out to Carroll House. Let's go back to Kate once again.
All right. Well, if you would like to enjoy the evening that they just talked about, join us on the 9th of June, and it will be at 6 o'clock that the doors open. There are cocktails available or whatever kind of beverage that you'd like. Beforehand, we have the pre-reception. Then you'll be moving into the Sheldon Theater itself, watching a live broadcast of Donnybrook. And then afterwards, you'll be able to come back out and meet the Donnybrookers again and their families and people who you've maybe seen there before. And as we've said, we think it's a great holiday gift. So it's $75. You will be able to get one ticket, or you can choose that mug that they were talking about giving their wife for Christmas. And I will tell you, that is a very substantial mug. I have heard some of them talk about not putting coffee in there, but maybe putting an adult beverage in there. And, you know, just a thought. Or if you decide to join us as a sustaining member at $12 a month, you will get 2 tickets and the mug. So think about that. Whatever membership level is comfortable for you, that's just fine with us. But please do make the decision, make the right decision, and that is to put your money where your mind is. You watch Donnybrook all the time. You expect to be here every Thursday night. You expect us, well, not me, you expect the cast to be here every Thursday night. And they are, because someone like you watching a program like this decided to become a member. So please go online to ninepbs.org or give us a call at 800-568-9099.
Absolutely. We'll see you June the 9th. Well, Wendy, I want to follow up just real briefly when it comes to the education issue. The test scores are very bad, and it's very difficult for kids to catch up. We know that to be true. So do you think that the $500 million that the area is going to get from the Rams should be spent on education so those kids can catch up and have a future?
I do think a portion of it, because this is, you know, we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about all sorts of needs, but they are the living, walking, breathing future of this region. Right. And they are as much a part of the infrastructure as any road or bridge, in my opinion.
I think that's a very wholesome thought, good thought. I don't think it's realistically likely to happen. I could be wrong, but the 3 parties who are the litigants, the plaintiffs in the suit, are governmental entities that are kind of statutorily removed from education.
Dang.
And
Which
so
is
I don't,
unfortunate.
however, again, it's a noble thought, actually, but I don't think it's going to happen.
All right. Well, Alvin, Reid, I want to ask you about something very strange that happened in Webster Groves, which is Lower Kirkwood, as far as you're concerned. I'm sure.
Lower Kirkwood.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, really. After seeing the people in the streets in Webster the past couple of months, you respect what they can do. It turns out that this $320 million development proposal that included condos and apartments and retail and office and eminent domain and $35 million in tax increment financing went down in flames. It was shot down unanimously by city officials. The developer had spent $1 million, he says, on the proposal. Now it's gone. I have a question for you. Is this the sign of things to come?
Well, maybe the developers could sue the Rams because, you know, we spent, what, $17 million?
Really?
And we're going to get that back. Yeah. I kind of hope it is. And when this all first began, my first thought was, I wonder how many people know that this would be named for Frederick Douglass, because that's there's a Douglas Avenue or a road right down there, and that's you know what technically the name was. And then these yard signs were just everywhere in Webster, and you would have thought that there was an election, that the people were going to vote yes or no. This was telling council people no, and it was every part of Webster. It was where, like I said, you know, down in that part where the facility was going to be, the development was going to be. It was all the way up to Watson Road. It was like the town told every elected official, don't do this.
Don't go
and
there.
they listened. 6-0. Nobody, you know, said like, hey, I still think it's the right thing to do. It will help us. Maybe we can, you know, scale it down. Maybe they said like, nope, take it someplace else. So yeah, I think it does bode well that a community can just say no.
I disagree.
Nancy Reagan appreciates that. I just said that.
There you go. I disagree. I don't disagree with wishing it were so. I do not think it's a trend. I mean, I don't think it's this town, this community, this metropolitan area is so committed to sprawl, so committed to the automobile, and so committed to accommodating sprawl that I don't think is any. I think it's a wonderful statement by Webster. And Webster, I don't want to, Webster Groves is a unique community.
Yep,
and it's
right.
Really, to me, a model. You know, I don't want to disparage anybody else, but it is a model kind of Americana community. And I spent a lot of time there, just love it. And I don't live there, but I mean, and I think it is uniquely, I think it sends a message about development in Webster, but I don't think it has any impact outside.
I thought it felt like a Jimmy Stewart movie. I mean, it really did feel like a Jimmy Stewart movie that, and we've all had that experience when we're going through Webster. You know, when you going to Schnarr's Hardware or wherever you're going, you feel like you're turning back the clock, and neighbors looking after neighbors, and so I sadly I agree with Ray, though. I mean, that what makes Webster so unique is what makes it such an impossible task to recreate elsewhere.
Well, you know, I'm in Webster a lot because my daughter and two of my grandkids live there, and this was kind of a cool issue in that there were a lot of no signs. There were no yes signs. I mean, it was just the developer and the whole idea that money talks and everything else walks. That wasn't here. I mean, it was a grassroots thing. And also, I think it shows the importance of local newspapers. I mean, the Post-Dispatch and, of course, the Webster Kirkwood Times, which covered this so well. And people looked at it and just decided for a myriad of reasons. I mean, environmental.
Traffic.
And traffic and the tone of Webster. The people just really rose up and said, we don't want to do this.
Well,
So
one group of people,
unfortunately, they're probably going to move it to Chesterfield or
And they
Richmond Heights.
won't get that.
we're not going to have it in Kirkwood either. There is the one people that do not think it's a Jimmy Stewart were the ones on the zoning commission who approved it.
Who were okay with it. Yeah.
They're probably looking at city council like,
Yeah, they feel
oh
like-
yeah, really?
feel
It'd be
like
awkward
Mr.
when they shop
Yeah.
at straws now.
Yeah, they feel like
Okay.
Mr. Potter.
Hey, Wendy, how about terrible situation? This last week, we had a kindergartner go to school with a firearm, and a second grader went to school with a loaded firearm, both in the greater St. Louis area. I have a question. Last week in Michigan, the parents of the assailant at Oxford High were charged with manslaughter.
Right.
Do you think the parents of a second grader, for example, who takes a loaded firearm into a school should face some sort of legal prosecution?
I think they should face some sort of legal consequences, whether that's a fine that is issued. We've had too many of these instances. The one case where the child found it in a secure lockbox and was still able to take it to school, but according to the story, the authorities said, well, it was a secure lockbox, so the parents were doing their due diligence. If it was a secure lockbox, how did the child get it out of the lockbox and take it to school? So I'm confused about that. But the mistaken identity backpack, I just, and being a parent, trust me, I'm the farthest thing from the perfect parent. But we've got to do better, whether we're the grandparents or the parents or the aunts or the uncles or whoever's watching the children. You've got to take a look at what is going on in your child's backpack and be aware.
The thing that struck me is, my 6-year-old grandson, he was with us last night, and his backpack does not look at all like my backpack. So I wonder what kind of dad has a backpack similar, almost identical to a 6-year-old. I mean, what's going on?
That's a valid question.
It kind of strains credibility.
Are you saying my Donald Duck thing?
You're SpongeBob.
I should grow out of it? Is that what you're saying?
Right?
No, I have to say, I think you are, as a gun owner and as somebody who believes in private gun ownership, I think you are responsible for your firearm, full stop.
Yep.
It's a little unfair to compare it to Michigan, and no, you're not. But I mean, where you have.
Well, but it's not. I mean,
No, I don't
just
mean.
one
I just
little
mean that
accident.
yeah, but there's a lot of there's some facts in that case that go beyond with some of the text and stuff. They go a little bit beyond just the kid took the gun. But my point. That's all I meant. I didn't mean it. It's a fair subject comparison. But the point is. You're responsible, full stop,
I agree.
For the gun, and I don't know what.
Maybe that'll make a difference.
Thank God nobody got.
If we could pivot, Alvin, what about a 61-year-old woman who is killed by 2 pit bulls and a mixed breed dog outside her daughter's home in Franklin County? And do you think that the owner of the dogs should be responsible or prosecuted?
I absolutely do. And I'm going to preface this by saying, like, I really do love animals. The cats I've had have come from shelter. I understand love of pets. Pit bulls to me are like a loaded gun that can just fire itself for no reason. And I think if something like this, there should be some legal responsibility, because this was a family tragedy. But what if it was just some little kid walking down the street?
Right.
And I think we would have a different reaction. So I think that there should be some type of legal, ramification to this. Now, what is it? German Shepherds bite more people than any other kind of dog, and I guess any kind of dog could attack somebody and hurt them or possibly kill them. But I think pit bulls fall into a range of this is why you cannot have a mountain lion on a leash walking them up and down the street. It's just I just think they're dangerous. And if you own something dangerous and it hurts somebody, I think you should be held responsible.
Conversely, though, Alvin, we had a mini dachshund before she crossed the Rainbow Bridge. If she had taken a chunk out of a neighbor, that's our responsibility. And occasionally she was pretty temperamental, like her owner occasionally. but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's a pit bull or a chihuahua. The owner bears responsibility.
And of course, when your dash hound bites somebody, it can hurt the ankle. But when if a pit bull can kill somebody, I mean,
first of all, I don't want to get down the whole pit bull thing. I think they are. While I'm not one of these people who is fighting for them, I think they're unfairly stereotyped or whatever you want to call it. But let's setting that aside, I disagree. In other words, and I'm also the owner of a large dog who's we looked it up in Ancestry. He's got some wolves in his heritage, I think. The fact is, I do not think that you are, in this, how tragic is it? It's her daughter, it's her mom. Apparently, according to the sheriff, the mom had interacted before with the dog. the idea that you're somehow responsible, you have no idea what, and I'm not, God knows I don't want to go into the specifics, but you don't know any of the circumstances, and you can't be responsible for any action of your dog. Now, if you're negligent,
you can't be responsible for the action of your dog.
I don't understand that.
No, I mean in terms. Well, yes, you are legally responsible, but I mean in terms of if there's negligence involved. So if there turns out in this fact set that you were negligent about it, but just because your dog bites something, they do have a system where after one bite or the second bite you get turned in. I get that, but you're not responsible for every action. I mean, if there was,
hold those thoughts, gentlemen, because again, we're going to ask everybody to join us in June the 9th, to be specific, for Donny Bash, and here are the details.
And isn't it fun to see Donnybrook once again, and how great fun for us that it is that we can announce that Donny Bash is coming back this year. It seems like forever, but we want you to be there for Donny Bash at the Sheldon Concert Hall. The date is Thursday, June 9th of 2022. Doors open at 5:30, and there are a couple of different ways that you can be in the audience. Number one, the tickets to Donny Bash are $75 a piece. And so for a $75 membership to 9 PBS, you have your choice, either a ticket to Donny Bash or the Donny Bash, the new mug for 9 PBS. That's real, it's a handsome mug, and you will enjoy that. But I've got the best deal of all for you right now. It's a great combo, and at $12 a month as a sustaining member of 9 PBS, you will not only get 2 tickets to Donny Bash, you will also receive the 9 PBS, the brand new ceramic mug that we've been showing off here at 9 PBS. And that is a great way to not only be a member of 9 PBS, but also you and a guest will be in the audience for Donny Bash on that Thursday. And we know the Sheldon Concert Hall is a favorite. And you will see the Donnybrook set transformed and right there on the stage at the Sheldon Concert Hall. Our friends from Donnybrook are right next door on their studio set. Let's go and join them and my good friend Kate Durbin right now.
And we want to thank all of our friends who are watching right now and the people who have shown up at Donny Bash in the past. We want to invite you to come and see how this is all done. And you guys have been doing this a long time. I was thinking earlier today that this is going to be winding up the 35th season. How many shows is that?
It's amazing.
The 35th season.
At least 60. I'm not good at math.
Yeah, we were talking before he came out. Probably in the ballpark of 1,700, and we'll get one right sometime.
Yeah, that's right.
We're working. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, well, it is a work in progress, but that's one of the things that's great is because it stays current, because even though it's been going on a long time, you're always talking about what's new, what's topical, what's making a difference to the people in our area.
That's right, and the news is different every week. Sometimes we repeat a few stories. This is St. Louis after all. We lose NFL teams.
That's what the first show we were talking about.
The football has been a constant.
I think it was the first subject.
It was
the
the
first
first
show.
the
first show.
Our
The
late
NFL.
dear
That's right.
Martin Dugan said, "The Big Red are
Leaving
out of here."
Wow.
Oh my gosh, and the Big Red right now are leading the NFL. Are leading the league. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, so Donny Bash. Donny Bash is going to happen on June 9th. You mentioned during the last segment, this is the first time you've done it during the summertime.
And you know why I like that? Because we might be able to drive home in the light. I mean, that's kind of
That would
nice.
be nice.
You know, it's a little different, and the weather will cooperate, so you don't have to worry about it being too cold. We've had some Donnybrooks when it was really cold, so this will be really pleasant. And it's a way to raise money for 9 PBS. I got to tell you something. I was gone last week. Alvin did a great job. I was in Salt Lake, and I saw a rehearsal for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Wow.
And it was beautiful. It's going to be on Channel 9 on the 13th, and no commercials. It's going to be 2 hours, the best of this fabulous, world-famous choir. Where else will you be able to see that 2 hours commercial-free but right here? And it's made possible by great donations like buying a ticket to Donny Bash.
Yeah, I think that's really an important
So
point
true.
that we're here to promote Donny Bash and that, but you're supporting the 9 PBS, the 9
Right.
network, and that's particularly during the pandemic. 9 stepped up
Oh my gosh.
so. Amy Shaw, the whole team really, truly stepped up for St. Louis like you can't believe, and made a big difference.
School children,
for
their
kids,
parents, yeah.
education, and so this we're happy, proud to be part of it. But I mean that it's
Yeah,
they
it
did
was
a great
wonderful.
job.
Absolutely.
So if you are proud of being someone who watches Channel 9 and watches 9 PBS or PBS in general, people always say, oh, I don't watch television except for PBS. Well, if you're one of those people, do help support it by becoming a member, because you're going to be supporting the show that has all of these great journalists on it, but you're also supporting all of the other programs. We're going to go over to Marianne right now, and she's going to let you know how to become a member.
And it is so very easy. And when Charlie was talking about Donny Bash for the first time in the summer, it kind of made me think, well, how great. Make a weekend of it if you are coming in from out of town. Do Donny Bash on that Thursday, June 9th, and then take in a Cardinals game, why not, while you're in town. What a great way to spend a summer weekend. We want you there for Donny Bash. It is just so easy. You can go online at 9pbs.org to join. That's NINEPBS.org. Or you can also call us or text the word GIVE to 1-800-568-9099. It's just that easy. And for that Donny Bash on Thursday, June 9th, well, there's an easy way to join. First of all, if you would like to join, it's $75. You get your choice of either one ticket or the new Channel 9 ceramic mug. But here's the best deal. At $12 a month as a sustaining member of the 9 PBS network, you will be able to get 2 tickets to Donny Bash for that Thursday, June 9th. Plus, you'll also get one of the new ceramic mugs. So we think that is a wonderful way to take advantage of a great deal and to be with everyone at the Sheldon Concert Hall on June 9th. That's a Thursday evening. The doors open at 5:30. If you've never been to the Sheldon, wow, the parking there is just a dream. There's not a bad seat in the house. You'll be enjoying cocktails before they tape the show. You'll also stay and enjoy time with the Donnybrook cast after the show as well. It should be a wonderful, full evening, and we want to see you there. So join us online or give us that call now at 1-800-568-9099.
June 9th is just around the corner. We'll see you then. Donny Bash 2022. Bill McClellan, you're from the land of Lincoln. And there's a proposal in Illinois by a state rep from the Chicago area, which, if enacted, would require those who are unvaxxed and are hospitalized to pay for their medical care out of pocket. Again, people who choose not to be vaccinated end up in the hospital. Their medical care comes out of pocket, not from the insurance companies. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm not in favor of any law that I don't think you can really enforce. And the first time we have some unvaccinated person in the emergency room running up a huge bill, I mean, who knows how big it would be, incubated and then on a machine, and give this person a bill for $200,000 or something. It doesn't work. And so I'm not in favor of it. The same way, if I eat too much red meat or drink too much, I don't want somebody saying to me, well, you're going to have to pay for your own hospital bills, even though you have insurance or whatever. So I don't think it's plausible.
I hear you, but I just think we're to the point now. It's like, all right, let's quit arguing about a mask mandate and you got to do this and you got to do that. How about you have to pay for the consequence of this happening to you? And I think that that's fair. I've thought that that was fair all along, but especially since, as you know, like about the middle of the summer, compassion for, those that just don't want to listen evaporated with me. And
well, that's
I think
because you were being attacked for doing what you were told to do.
Right. Good.
That's when I think the tables turn for a lot of people, when it's like, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to follow what the health directives say we should do, that's great for you. But don't don't get in my get in my grill because I choose to follow those directives. And I'm like you, I have lost all sorts of patience with it. And I know what you're
but
saying.
what do you do with a family, the father of a family of 5, and all of a sudden he's an anti-vaxxer, and you know, I'm a pro-vaxxer, but the father of 5, and he goes into the hospital, and they save him or they don't, but either way, there's a bill for a couple $100,000, and you know, the kids aren't going to be able to go to college. I mean,
I have to tell you, I was with you before, and I'm no longer now. Unlike when you were, where I agreed with you, and you changed your mind on the show for the specific reason that I had agreed with you. It was a little different.
And here you are now attacking my pugs, right?
Yeah, right.
Off the air, saying they were mean.
No, they had strong jaws. The point is that I've lost patience. I'm kind of like, I was fine, you know, saying early on, we said, don't vilify the people who weren't getting vaccinated, yada, yada, yada. And you should. I think initially, you know, be patient with people, try to bring them along. This is it. I mean, we have 2 ways to go as a country. We can either have some sense of shared sacrifice like they had in World War II, et cetera, and realize we've got to pull together and stop this virus. And the only reliable way to stop it is vaccination, period. And the fact is, if you pay a price or your heirs pay a price because you're not willing to be a good citizen and be part of the solution, I gotta say, you know, I'm there now.
Maybe it should be a portion of the bill. Maybe there should be some economic consequence.
Well, okay, I can live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, I also I'm torn about, you know, if someone goes to the hospital because they have a heart attack or something, but you can't get cared for because all these unvaccinated people.
That's why you
I don't have the answers to any of this.
All right, well, speaking of hospitals, Ray, the county executive, Dr. Sam Page, has been working at a hospital part-time for, among other things, to keep up his credentials, accreditation with the American Medical Association, whatever governing body oversees that. But some people have said, no, the county charter says that he shall devote his entire time to the office of county executive. That's a little bit nebulous, I think. Well, now...
I don't think it's nebulous.
About
There's
entire
nothing.
Time?
It's
entire time, all vacation time, all sleeping time, all time in the bathroom. He shall be a county executive. Is that what that means? That's ridiculous. The question is
there a question?
Yes, it's in front of the voters in April. Will a county executive be allowed to moonlight? And of course, the answer is yes, because it keeps him in touch with the real world, and you don't need to spend more than 40 hours a week as county executive, right?
Not if somebody plays what you just said as an ad. No, just kidding. No, I mean, he should not moonlight. I mean, this is a full-time position.
What are you doing? You got 3 jobs.
I got
Rawstory.com, KTRS, and here.
No,
he says no
he's
moonlighting.
not bound by any county charter.
Yeah.
He's the county executive.
That's
He's
'cause
bound
All
by
of
the
us
charter.
are moonlighting, from what I can see.
That's fine. We're not the county executive.
Particular genius out of this. I think I'm not exactly a role model here. I'm also not the full-time county executive. It is the intent of the county charter very clearly that his full-time job. No one's saying it about 168 hours a week, but his full-time job, his only job, would be as county executive, and it's what it is. There's a lot of reasons. There's a whole lot of reasons why the elected chief executive of a county that has contracts with everybody, all kinds of things, should not have the appearance of working. And I don't care whether it's working for a contractor at a hospital or serving, you know, working at the window of McDonald's. You just don't.
Okay, now that you took the words right out of my mouth. I said, like, if Sam Page was done with his county executive work and then did 8 hours on assembly line, nobody would have a problem with it. I think he's being picked on because he's a doctor and he makes a lot of money. 1. 2, would you rather have an industrious county executive who, like, actually wants to keep doing his work, or would you rather have one like the previous one who didn't do his job and sat around playing video games in his boxer shorts? I think I want this one.
Not me. I mean, I'm with Ray and Wendy. This is supposed to be a full-time job, and it'd be like the CEO of a large company. If I'm a shareholder and all of a sudden I go to, you know, some restaurant or something, and the chef happens to be the CEO of my company, I go, what is he doing?
What the heck?
And I go, well, he's got, You know,
He likes to cook.
Yeah.
Well, how about you? When you were working full-time, getting paid to write 4 columns a week for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, you moonlighted here. You started
He's
this
not
program.
an elected
to take-
official.
Understanding.
He's not an
Bill
elected
is not
official.
bound by the
He-
St. Louis
he's
County
ripping off
Charter.
Joe Pulitzer.
He is
Pulitzer
not bound by
he
the
gave you
St.
a
Louis County
full-time
Charter.
job.
He is not an elected
I
official.
feel guilty for that.
Good
Charlie.
Lord, he's not an elected official bound by the county charter.
Alvin is exactly
I
right.
just don't think
it's important to have
I
someone.
want Charlie on this. I'm just like, wait a minute now.
come
It
on.
said devote all your time to your job. So in other words, when you're doing your job, do your job. All right? But when he's not doing his job,
No, don't do
we
another
say
job.
here,
You're the
right.
county executive.
this-
He doesn't need to be doing another job.
Okay.
No.
I don't
Another
get that.
topic.
This is a do as
Alvin,
I say.
I like your style. With 90 seconds to go, Jacob Barker had a real good piece on the development team in Mayor Tashara Jones' office in the city of St. Louis, and she is a 28-year-old New York University law school graduate who's overseeing development, and he, along with Neil Richardson, formerly of U.S. Bank, are extracting tough demands from developers, driving a real hard bargain. But he also, Barker did, pointed out that the proposals are starting to dwindle. I have been in favor of asking for, developers who get concessions to give a little, but do you think that it's gone a little too far if proposals are starting to dry up somewhat?
No, because we all wanted this. It was just out of hand. It was too much money going to people that could afford whatever it was that they wanted to do or build, okay? This is the part of time where you still have to be very forceful because this is what they knew it was coming, and it's coming. People will come back, and when they come back, they'll ask for less.
You better hope they do.
No,
I think that timing is everything. And I think that this is a very precarious time to be possibly, these developers are not used to being told no.
Well,
He's
Webster,
like-
wait a minute.
Alvin
Webster,
is
that
right.
money, that part of the city said, fine, let's.
It's
City
Real
of
quickly,
St.
Reid,
Louis and
10
Webster are
seconds.
two
It's
different
too,
things.
Alvin's right. First of all, it's a good topic for a story, a
It
good
is.
newspaper story, but it is way too early to make that call yet.
All
I think,
right.
I think
And-
you've got to give the process a chance.
I
Very
think the
well.
mayor's doing the right thing.
I do too.
Let's go see what people had to say about last week's program. Guy Schreck wrote, I can't help but think the Dome gives the St. Louis Convention Center a unique facility that many other cities don't have. I was there a few years ago and thought the facility still looked nice. It would be such a waste to tear it down. We also heard from Peggy Fogg of Ferguson, who wrote, so the St. Louis Dome, built in 1995, is now obsolete. Well, how old are our St. Louis City public schools? Obsolete, need of updating? Sounds like a much better investment in our future. Mary Rice of Florissant wrote, a great deal of money should be spent on upgrading the region's sewers. If not, the public gets nickeled and dimed for increases in our taxes, seemingly every year, to pay for sewer upgrades. It would save money for taxpayers and would erase the destruction caused by overflowing sewers. Thank you, Ms. Rice. At Yale, Stewart tweeted, I'd prefer to see the money used to tackle our issue with blight, improve roads, improve public transit, improve the public school system. So many things, but not one dime for that trolley. And Emmy Irving tweeted, create a regional endowment, bank the $500 million, and concentrate on interest earned. What city county has $500 million in the bank at their disposal? You can write us, care of 9PBS, 3655 Olive Street, 63108. We love those emails, Donnybrook at 9pbs.org, and those tweets, hashtag DonnybrookSTL. And, of course, you can follow us on your favorite podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and TuneIn. That concludes the argument portion of our program. And now we invite you to join us again June the 9th for Donny Bash, when we can all argue in person.
Donnybrook is made possible by the support of the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation and the members of 9PBS.
All right, folks, we are getting really, really close to Christmas. We are within 2 weeks. And have you gotten your shopping done? Well, maybe not. If you're like most of us, you've gotten a lot of it done, but there's still some people on the list, the ones that are hard to get things for. We have the perfect opportunity for you right now because you can get a gift of experience going to Donny Bash, and that's happening next June on the 9th at the Sheldon right here. It is a wonderful opportunity, and there's two ways to do that. You can get one ticket when you join us for the one-time gift of $75, or you can get the 9 PBS mug that you see there with our tagline now, Stories That Move Us. Or you can join us as a sustaining member at $12 per month, and you will get 2 tickets to Donny Bash plus the mug. That's the one I really encourage you to go to or go with, the membership level that you could go with, because you are not only getting these great gifts that you can use for the holiday, but you also are making sure that we have a really good idea of what is going to be in our budget. Here at 9 PBS, we are licensed to the community and we are committed to operating in the black. So when you become a sustaining member, we know what's going to be coming into the budget, and we can plan on all of our great local programming, the things that we produce here, as well as make choices about what we're going to buy to broadcast. So won't you please give us a call right now, or it can be really easy for you. You can go online at ninepbs.org and choose what membership level you are interested in. If you've been a member in the past, you know how good it feels. If you've never been a member, now is a great opportunity to do so and to join the 9 PBS family. We've been talking about how long Donny Bash and Donnybrook has been on the air, and look how great these folks over at the table are looking.
Right. Until they show a clip from 10 years ago. I'm saying, who's that guy?
Yeah.
You see some of the ones that you should see us.
Oh my God.
Man, no, I'm saying, but man, you show half a
I love the
lifetime ago.
introductions, though, at Donny Bash for you all. I mean, it's like, where are the pyrotechnics, when you need them?
Well,
when you're
we set the
introduced.
Sheldon on fire. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah, when Alvin comes out, it's like being with Frank Sinatra. I mean,
No.
it really is.
Really?
Seriously.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
just the Sheldon itself
It's such
is
a
worth
grand.
seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, what a concert hall that place is.
Isn't
Yes.
it great?
And I'm so glad that Kate said what she said about how important 9 PBS is to the community, because you do have, when you are a member, we're all members, obviously, and you do have that sense of ownership and pride when you're watching something, or when somebody says, hey, did you see Masterpiece Theater? Or, hey, did you see Donnybrook, which is, let's face it, the other Masterpiece Theater. I can hear Kate laughing out loud.
Well.
Without the talent. Just,
right.
But when people say that, you do kind of puff up a little bit, because
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm part of bringing that to in a small part, but
sure.
still, I'm doing my part to ensure that it goes on in the future.
They did the Ken Burns Muhammad Ali this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And
Great
then,
example.
For one, like you say, like you mentioned, there's no commercials.
Right.
So you can sit there and you watch it for the hour and a half or whatever, and it's that. But really, it's kind of cool that I work for PBS. I work for Channel 9.
Right.
And you
Right.
take some pride. Didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
Right.
So by extension,
Ken Burns couldn't have done it without
and
me.
I are,
How about the outstanding documentary on Chuck Berry that aired?
Oh, that was very
that
good
was-
also.
yes.
Right. That was tremendous.
And the new series of All Creatures Great and Small.
Yes.
And because it's not new, they did that All Creatures Great and Small years and years
Like the
ago.
70s?
Yes, it was like
Something
the
like that.
70s. Yeah, but
Don't
I
forget.
love this one.
Living
think
St.
it's-
Louis.
Yes.
What?
I think it's just
Press
so
for St.
cool.
Louis as well.
I just think
Yeah.
it's so cool that we can just go through all these things we had nothing to do with.
Oh, that's
And feel really proud about
not
all
to
of
take
them
the
because
subject
Reflective
off of
glory, right?
Uh-huh.
Only because we're members. That's why we do feel
right.
that.
When we walk in the building, they don't ask us who we are. So yeah, there's some privilege in that.
not like
But no, as Kate was saying about hey, we pride ourselves on staying in the black, and I said if we go in the red, we might not be here. So please, Merry Christmas, help us, gift to St. Louis,
By the way,
sustain us.
Masterpiece Theater it is called. They like their
They
members
like
in
it.
there. No, thank you.
That's very funny. But I do the programs on 9 PBS. They just go on and
Yeah.
on. And every time you think, okay, They did it with young Victoria, Victoria.
Right.
I mean, okay, I thought that was great. And then they come up with All Creatures Great and Small. Then they come up with an opportunity that we did for the special screening for members only of Downton Abbey, the movie.
Yes.
And it was such an exciting afternoon in the theater, and all the members who were there and couldn't wait to see it. And you'd sit and you'd watch Downton Abbey at home, and you'd go, okay, I'm laughing at Maggie Smith's line there, and it's good. But then you're in the theater surrounded by 9 PBS members, and they're all laughing at the same thing, and it was the most delicious afternoon that I can remember in a long,
And weren't they in
long
costumes?
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
they dressed in costume. That's marvelous.
It was great. Let's go back to Kate once again.
Just listening to them talk about that, the different experiences that you have as a member of 9 PBS are multiple and varied. You are able to watch a program knowing that you helped put it on the air. And I'm not just talking about people who work at the station. You, as a member, help put these programs on the air. We offer you opportunities to do things for members only. You can go to Donny Bash as our thank you gift, or you can go to a concert as part of the thank you gift. You have the great benefits of being a member, such as being able to go out to the PBS app and then see Passport. And Passport gives you the opportunity to see programs that were on 9 PBS years and years and years ago. It's a library that's available to members only. We hope that you enjoy the programs on 9 PBS enough that you think they are willing to support. And when you do, at the $75 level, you'll have the chance to go to one of these live events. Donny Bash, you'll get 1 ticket, or you can choose the mug. Even better, you join us as a sustaining member at $12 a month, and you will receive 2 tickets to Donny Bash. So take someone with you, someone that you enjoy bantering with, someone you enjoy agreeing with, somebody you enjoy just really bashing with. You will love it, and you will also receive the mug. So please give us a call right now or go to ninepbs.org and give.